How the heck are everybody? I am Fastidious. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a video on the top things to progress in Watchers of Realms. As you can see from your screen, I am not alone today. I'm joined by a Rescue Panda. You want to introduce yourself, Rescue?
Yeah, hey guys, like Fastidious said, I am a Rescue Panda. I stream on Twitch and I'm also on YouTube, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us, Rescue. I think you are going to be the perfect person to help us with this video because it's a video on how to progress through the game. So we need someone who's kind of in the beginning, middle of the game, rapidly progressing. And from what I understand, you are the perfect person for that. What day are you on exactly?
So today I logged in for day 23.
Day 23, number 23. Beautiful.
Yep.
So I think you're a bit of an expert on the subject. I don't know if you're comfortable with me saying that, but you're in the midst of progression. And from what I understand, I was just on his stream, you are progressing extremely quickly.
I feel like I've been progressing pretty extremely quickly. I'm already on 18s of all the gear raids. I'm trying to progress through AMR on stage 18, and I actually did my first original fight for Nightmare 4 in Guild Boss, which is pretty exciting.
That's pretty darn quick, honestly.
Yeah.
Can we go over quickly? Are you a low spender? Are you free to play? Are you a big spender?
I kind of wish I wouldn't have spent the money that I did so I could claim free to play, but I am technically a low spender. I did buy the pass, but other than that, I haven't spent any other money.
So just the priv card for you?
Correct, yeah.
All right, I mean, guys, I've said it before, you know I'm not a spender. Granted, I get tons of diamonds, as you can see from the content creator program. However, I said if I was ever to spend money, the number one thing I would suggest is priv card, so well done to you, Rescue. All right, guys, we are going to do the top things to progress in the game, specifically with an early to mid game focus. Kind of once you're in the late game, end game, there's not much progressing left to do, and also with a strong free to play and low spender focus. It's a great thing to have you here, Rescue. Without further ado, let's get going, and I'm gonna hand it off to you right away. The first topic is going to be always be testing. What do you have to tell me about this, Rescue?
Yeah, so this is one of the daily things I do in my game. I am always trying to see if I can progress any further in any game modes. One of the things I do the majority of the time is Guild Boss. So I go in and I will test the next highest difficulty of my Guild Boss, because you never know, maybe you're able to break through that second shield or that third shield. And I'm really able to kind of see what progress I've made on my champions by just simply testing Guild Boss. There's also a lot of the times where in places such as Void Rift, I did my first Void Rift the first week, and then I was like, you know what, let's just try Elite, see what happens. And I was able to clear the Elite Void Rift on my second week, my second ever Void Rift. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but because they allow you to change difficulties, it doesn't hurt to try. So I think it's really important in the early game to just always be testing and just try to push your account as far as you can, as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. I think two amazing things you just highlighted there. I want to quickly say power to you, because when I started, you could not just change. You could change only once, and I did make that mistake and got on hard very, very early on. We didn't used to have Elite. So I was on hard far earlier than I ever would have been able to do it. But I think excellent things to point out. I think Guild Boss is a great thing to highlight specifically. You might see people a lot if you're watching streams or chatting with people talking about how they just do their Guild Bosses on auto. And some people do that because they're lazy, but a lot of people do that because you get very settled in to the differences in rewards between like chest tiers. So what I mean is, like, for me, this jump from reward 4 to reward 5 for Nightmare 3 is enormous. I've been over 6,500 for months now, probably 2 months, but getting to this 20K is an enormous jump, right? So at that point, that's when you can settle in and start doing your autos maybe a bit. I still usually manually do it, just like you, Rescue. But up until then, you can definitely be making progress, you know, day after day after day, which it sounds like you've really been doing, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'm constantly getting even the minor little bits of progress, because I'm testing in other areas too, such as the gear raids, right? And one of the things I think that this game does that a lot of games don't do is when you lose a stage or you quit out of a stage, it doesn't use your resource for going into that stage. A lot of games, if you go in and fail, that energy is gone. And in this game, they don't do that, which I think is a crazy good thing for progression, especially if you're in my situation where I'm trying to test. If I had to use my energy to test, I'd be less likely to test, right? Because that resource is important to have.
I think that's a really great point you just made. Like, yeah, I think a lot of us coming from other gachas are used to being penalized for failing at stages. There is no such penalty in this game, so keep pushing yourself beyond your limits. I think we can about wrap it up there, but I will say, you guys, for anyone that watches my many marathon streams trying to just grind out that last bit of progress in a gear raid, it does go a long way. I just wrapped up putting up like 26,000 points in Gear Raid 320. If I was doing it at 319, from the last time I did 319, it was like 15,000 points I put up. There was a marked difference. It's hard to point exactly those teeny tiny percentages, but that last bit of progress, that's what min-maxing is all about. So never be afraid to keep on pushing. All right, on to the next. I think I will start and take the lead here if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I want to talk about gear swapping. So guys, I know this is sweaty. I know it is not for everyone. It can be really frustrating. Shout out to Ivy, who detests doing this, and I totally respect her for that. However, if you want to grind and you want to min-max and you want to absolutely progress and push content beyond your means, you have to gear swap. Eventually, you might reach a point where you can build out some solid sets and have some solid builds. Like this build I have on my Arrogance, pretty solid. I don't move his gear much, right? Comet, this is an okay build. Virna, this is okay build. However, even as I clicked on Comet and Virna there, guys, that's gear that moves around all the time. There are very few sets like what I have on my Arrogance, which I say is on him 90% of the time. And this is me on a day 97 account that I think has progressed quite far. I'd love to hear what your take is on this and if you're moving your gear around as well, Rescue.
And I know we kind of talked about this before, but I think the reason why this is so important, especially for those of us that are in the first couple weeks, is they've made a pretty crazy change to storyline from when you started playing the game, and you actually get a ridiculously well-rolled gear set, both left and right side. It is max crit, a pretty large chunk of attack percent, and every single stat is rolled purple. It's a completely, set in stone thing, just like when you open up your first mythic artifact, right? Your guaranteed Scarlet Hunt. These are set in stone pieces, and it's a very strong DPS set. I swapped it back and forth between my Nyx and my Deimos, all over the place when I needed to progress in certain areas. And I think that that's one of the main reasons why, because of how strong Power of Dominance is you can use that really, really strong set of gear and then swap to a less strong set of gear. But because you have that 30% bonus to stats, you're probably still going to be able to clear it.
Absolutely. And if you don't mind, after we finish filming, definitely send me screenshots of those pieces, because Rescue showed me them off the video before, and I'd love for you guys to see. If you're an older player like me, this blew my mind. Guaranteed purple rolls on, what was the accessory set? Was it a Doom set or something?
So it's a Doom set, and then the left side is the crit rate set. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's
I forget what it's called set, too.
So.
Let's pull that up. Yeah. Actually, I'm not going to have any of that. If you know the name of the crit rate set, get in the comments. That's a good sign that I've been playing this game for too long. Maybe if I'm finally forgetting the name of an old set. But yeah, I think touching on the power dominance is essential, and that kind of ties in beautifully with the first point, always be pushing, because once you unlock that power dominance, it is night and day. For anyone that's been following me for a while, when we knew the Light Lock nerf was coming, I was pushing out Gear Raid 1 and Light Lock content constantly, trying to motivate people to build him up before the nerf came, and that was to make actual amazing use out of Light Lock, because even once he got nerfed, he's still usable now, but he's nothing like the god he used to be. You had power dominance, and you could completely just cakewalk through it with basically any heroes once you had power dominance. That is really special in this game, so it really doesn't hurt. I do this a lot on takeovers for people. I move all their gear, they get angry or they get confused why I moved all their gear. I said, no, now you can move your gear back wherever you want. I unlock power dominance, so a build that's literally half as good will easily clear that content. So a great thing to highlight. All right, this next one, and I'd love to just hand it right over to you because this was your suggestion. Surround yourself with competitive people or very knowledgeable, well-progressed people in the game. You want to speak to that subject, Rescue?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said before, I've been playing RPG gacha games for a very long time. So I kind of come into the game with a set knowledge base that is kind of the same between every other gacha, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I've been able to push as hard as I can, because I understand those core mechanics. So even if you're newer to this type of game, you can surround yourself with people who have that knowledge, and they're really able to help you. So you can go check out YouTubers like Fastidious or myself, even Mob Bucket. He has a website with all sorts of really good information, and find yourself a good guild that's able to help you progress. And you're able to make a lot of progress that way because you're just learning about the game. just recently I had someone in my Twitch chat who is on day like 30 or 40, and he didn't know that percent stats were more important than flat stats. And that's because no one told him. And I was able to give him that information, and his power, I mean, he skyrocketed in progression. He had crazy BP jumps just because he had that information. So it's very important to have people that have information.
I will also say, probably a good idea to join a good Discord community as well, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's all sorts of Discord communities, like Fastidious, for example.
There you go, guys. Get in on the Fast and the Fastidious. You got to get that plug in there. But yeah, joining a community or joining a good guild where they're active in the chat or just making friends through the game, you can always ask questions. No one's going to judge you, and if they do, they're a bit of a jerk, because not everyone has been grinding Raid Shadow Legends for 3.5 years before coming to this game like you and I maybe have. So you don't just understand these basic mechanics, and something that might seem as obvious to us as, hey, a 6-star fully promoted super high base stats hero like Mommy Morrigan right here, you know, she's going to scale way better off attack bonus as opposed to flat attack. That's not like intuitive if you haven't been doing this stuff obsessively and compulsively for a very, very, very long time. So just get in there, ask whatever questions. There are literally no stupid questions. Yeah, I think it's an excellent thing. On to something a bit more, actually, I just realized because of the way my Oracle trial for Gear Aid 3 shook out, we have a great example on my account, and then we can hand it over to your account. The thing we wanted to highlight here, everybody, you and I were just talking about Rescue, is podiuming. So you might think of podiuming as like a really pay-to-win, really hard whale thing to do. However, early on in the game, it's unclear exactly how they group you in your bracketing, but very much it seems it has something to do with your BP level on your account and the actual account level of your account. There are certainly other factors. However, in general, because you're a new player, if you're the one grinding hard, if you're the one watching this video, if you're the one trying to progress really rapidly, you're gonna be at a huge advantage, right? So it should be very easy for you to get first, second, or third place and earn extra things like energy and of course summoning crystals. And in a game built around class types in a full roster, summoning is essential. So do not be afraid to make that extra push, because let me tell you something, it gets a lot harder. So let's have 2 examples from my account, and then I want to hand this over to you, Rescue. So right now, we just had a Mystery of Artifacts start literally 1 hour and 31 minutes ago. I've already put up 2,760 points. Not a ton, but I've almost maxed the event. Like, I grind pretty hard, right? And I'm gonna go very hard in this event. Look at Vargas up here in first place. He's at 7,816 points. This thing has been live for 90 points. For anyone that was following me last week, I had this guy, what was their name? Fady. This person put up 117,000 points in Artifact Material Raid. I put up like 32K. I put in my work, but I could never dream of podiuming in an event like that. However, earlier on, you absolutely can. If you want to know how hard it is, I just podiumed in Forgotten Palace. I only got 3rd place with 26,000 points for Gear Aid 3, because these guys totally ran away with it, 36.8 thousand. So please inform us, Rescue. Tell us about how much easier it is at the beginning and why you should podium.
Yeah, just hearing those numbers that's crazy to me. But I will say, in my first 6 Oracles trials, I got 1st place. And the reason is because the numbers are drastically lower. My first, not including the beginner Oracles trial you get, but the first real one that I was in, I literally got 1st place with like 3,000 points. It took almost nothing in order to progress that. It's just like 2,500 is just the free rewards, right? I only had to do a little more beyond that, and I was able to get 1st place. And I did this in the first 6 events, the first 6 Oracles trials, which netted me a ton of summons. And guys, in the early game, summoning is what gets you the champions that allow you to progress in the game. And each of those summons is 88 diamonds, right? So when you push just a little bit further to get that podium, for barely any diamond cost, you're getting diamonds in return in the form of summons. So it's very important to be able to push. And again, like Fastidious said, in the early game, I definitely think it's based on BP, because my BP is very low or very high in comparison to my level. And now the people that are in my brackets are like level 70 and level 80 when I'm only like 50, 60, right? So it's definitely a good idea to push early on in the game so you can get those free rewards very quickly.
Absolutely. And every summon gained is diamonds saved, right? And diamonds saved are stamina. So that's going to be a perfect transition into our next point. However, I just want to show you guys, shout out to that Fady person that put up 110,000 plus points. This is actually the 5th person on global in Tide. So those are the kind of people you're going to start. This is a 100 let me see if I can show the Breville, a level 100 5+ million BP account, and there are accounts that go up to like 6-7 million, guys. So you really get going while the going's good, because next thing you know, you're going to be with Fady and people that are literally like top 10 in the game, and good luck to you. So on the topic of stamina, this is super important. Ronaldo and I, this is, by the way, if you haven't been following me forever, you probably missed this video I had with Ronaldo, so I'll card up to it now, put a link in the description. But this video with Rescue Panda here, you are very much his spiritual successor on the topic. That was how to progress as a free-to-play low spender at the very early game. Now we're at the early mid game. In that one of the main things we highlighted that we want to reiterate and expand upon here is going to be play as often as you possibly can in the beginning, with a strong focus on grinding as hard as you can to get under that stamina cap. So do you want to explain to the people what is going on with the stamina cap and why you got to get under this thing over here?
Yeah, so in the early game, you are going to be given a ton of free stamina, and it unfortunately doesn't always come in the form of potions. A lot of the times it comes in raw stamina. And so because of that, you're going to be over your stamina cap. So if your stamina cap is 100 and you get 100 energy, you're going to have 200 energy. And so you can't regen stamina when you're already full. And so that poses a problem in the early game. Not only that, but you level a lot faster. And when you level, you get stamina. So you want to really grind as much as you can in like that first day. I think before we recorded, Fastidious said he grinded like 18 hours in the first day in order to get under that stamina cap. So it's a lot of grinding, but the more you do, the better, because you're able to get under that stamina cap and start regenning. Also, another little tip is there's achievements that have stamina. Don't collect them until you need the stamina, because it's just going to be longer for you to have to grind out in order to get under that stamina cap.
Absolutely. And on top of just achievements, another thing that you're going to want to sit on at the beginning, they throw tons of XP boosts at you. And then in the Pantheon, they'll start handing them out to you when you start leveling it up. At the beginning, you'll level them up very quickly. At the end, it takes a lot longer. So you see I'm at level 155 now. Definitely leave these there dormant until you actually need them, because those can be like, save them for a rainy day when you have later on in the game when they're not as so abundant. But yeah, I got in my first 18 hours, I got under the stamina cap, and that is because you have to make these games work for you. And the only way the game is going to give you free stuff, just straight up free stuff, the only free and premium resource in the game is stamina. The only way you're getting it for free is by being under the cap. And this cap goes up, by the way. So I'm at level 74 now. So you can see it's all the way up to 280. I don't know what yours is, but I'm sure it's certainly not 280 yet.
Mine's 265, so
265.
almost.
You're almost there. You're coming up real quick. What count level are you at already?
I am level 56. I've been
that's
grinding
nuts.
really hard.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
He's been grinding really hard. Congrats to you, Rescue. But yeah, absolutely. And again, back to like the don't be afraid to ask. I've had many people not realize that if you're under the cap, you're getting free stamina. You can click on it right here. There's no stupid question, guys. You can see restore later, 2 minutes. Every 3 minutes, it will restore once. So I have 2 minutes until I get my next stamina. That's 20 stamina an hour. So while you're sleeping, if you're under the cap, let's say you sleep for 7 hours, that's 140 stamina for free every night, right? Yep. And sure, 140 stamina. People are gonna be like, that's not even 7 runs of gear raid, whatever. Sure, but it adds up over a month, right? That's 4,200 stamina, right? So you really gotta, if you want to min-max, if you're watching this video, it's because you want to min-max. So listen to what Rescue and I are telling you. Finally, and I actually want to let you take this one as well, because this was a great last-minute suggestion you had, Rescue, and I love it. Do not be afraid to 6-star heroes early and outside of events. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so like Fastidious mentioned earlier, if you don't have the prior knowledge of how these games work, you may not realize that base stats are very important. So getting a character to 6-star max promotion is the best form of stat gain in the first couple days, even the first couple weeks of the game, because having those higher base stats means your gear gives you more value. So making your first 6-star, even if you're not in one of the corridor events where you get those extra rewards for leveling up champions, it's still very much worth it, because odds are that first 6-star is going to progress you way further than you would be if you would wait. For example, on my account, I made my first 6-star Nyx because I pulled her and she seemed really powerful. AoE damage dealer. I was stuck on some places where I needed AoE damage. she got me a ton of levels in Gear Raid 3 and pushed me through the campaign. And I definitely gained more from those couple extra days of being able to clear higher content than I would have gained if I would have waited 2 or 3 more days for the corridor event.
Absolutely. It's a no-brainer, guys. Anyone that missed my free-to-play series, technically my Grind for Glory is still my free-to-play series. I just rebranded once I started getting free stuff. However, for 48 days, we were the dirtiest free-to-play in all of Watcher of Realms. You can go and see the reason I grinded so hard was not just to get under the stamina cap, but also to do exactly what you're talking about, Rescue. You really have to unlock those high efficient things as quickly as possible. So this is also something we talked about with Ronaldo, but it cannot go without mentioning. If you go to the normal campaign, why won't they let me? Oh, here we go. Chapter 8. You want to get to normal campaign 8.4 as fast as possible and clear that. This is near max efficiency XP farming. Granted, since I did that, they've added chapter 9 and you can now clear 9.7. However, 9.7 is proper end of mid-game content, so a lot of people won't be able to do that for a very long time. For your first month or maybe 2 days, if you're like Rescue and you're a maniac. But for almost 99% of players, maybe 99.99, for your first month or so, there's going to be no way more efficient to grind XP than in the XP raid stage 7, which you unlock at normal campaign 8.4. And if you do it hard, I did this on day 2, I unlocked it. So get in there. People ask, how did you progress so fast? Well, everyone else was doing fun stuff like trying out the artifact material raid or the gear raid or this and this. All I did was run XP raid. I put all my stamina into that. That's part of the reason I was able to get under the cap so quickly. I guess at that point I was already under the cap, but I was able to stay under the cap because you keep getting more and more stamina, which pushes you up over the cap when you're at early account levels and you got to get back under. Just over and over and over and over, do it. Get as many 6 stars as possible, as quickly as possible. That is so much better than a piece of gear on a 5-star hero, especially when they're higher rarity, like an epic or legendary hero. We can wrap it up in a second. I do just want to properly articulate this. Probably no one better than Salazar, highest base attack in the game. So we talked about 6 stars, Rescue, right? But we talked about maxing out, and you did mention promotion briefly, but I want to hammer this point home into everyone's head aggressively. Promotion consistently. Guys, I do account takeovers basically every day, some 2 or 3 a day, 2 to 3 a day now. So many times people go, oh, I maxed out these champions for you. It's going to be a lot easier. Can you progress this in an hour? And then I go and see they do have a Salazar or something, but he's 5 stars of promotion or 4 stars of promotion. Getting those promotions, it cannot be overstated. Will they even let me show it here? No, they won't. I'm going to have to go into my gallery to show you guys, or not my gallery, my roster. But the stat gain in this game from promotions is even on a whole nother level than like Ascension and Raid or something else. So let me find someone who's not promoted. Here's Zealous, right? So right now my Zealous is 5 stars, so he can only be max 5 stars of promotion. If I choose to 6-star don't be jealous of my Zealous, he's not that good. But if I choose to 6-star my Zealous anytime soon, it probably won't be happening. Thank you, Mommy Virna. But at stage 6, look at that, an extra 511 attack. That is like a quarter to a fifth of the base max attack of a rare hero. You're getting that just from a promotion. Like, you're getting a huge chunk of a normal hero's normal attack just from a promotion. It cannot be overstated how significant that is. And if you build, if you added up all the attack bonus you built on your Zealous and it's like 120, 150%, that's an extra 511 that's scaling off of. So let's say you had an extra 150%, that'd be over 750 extra attack you get on top of what you're getting from that, just your attack bonus kicking in again. I'm talking in circles now, but I'm just getting riled up talking about it, Getting your max 6 promotion in this game cannot be overstated, the true value. Whew. Okay, so Rescue, my friend. Passionate. I love the game, baby. I love the game. That's why I play it. Do you love the game?
I do very much so.
Excellent.
I think that's why I play it nonstop. So
there we go. And Rescue, you do play it nonstop. You do love the game. Everyone go check out his channel. He might seem like a new creator in this space, but you have tons of experience, clearly, right? So go check him out. Throw him that sub. Check out his Twitch. He does his streaming on Twitch, not YouTube Live. So you can see him along with War Guides over there. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, man. I mean, just play the game how you want to play it. I like to progress very quickly, which is why I have made so much progress. It's fun for me. But definitely at least take some of these things to heart. I think it'll be really helpful for you to enjoy the game, because the fun stuff is really the challenging stuff in this game. And just thanks for having me on the channel. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And yeah, let me piggyback off that. This is a video on how to progress right? So of course we're being like, do this to min-max. If you don't want to do that, just don't do that. It's a freaking game. Enjoy it at your own pace. Have a great time. Enjoy. You saw me playing some cinematics in the background while we were talking. Enjoy all the other cool things in the game. It's not a race, you know. The PvP is kind of a joke, so just enjoy it at your own pace. Thank you so much for joining me, Rescue. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like it, give it a like. If you want to comment, if we said anything amazing or terrible, let us know. Share it with your mother. Give me a sub. I'll see you in the next one. It's amazing. I filmed like 250 videos or something, and I always mess up my sign off. It's amazing.
It happens, man.
It happens.
Fastidious.